This is the Eye for an Eye channel. Welcome to today's show. Well, I guess we're now all learning the purpose that Russell Brand is serving. Of course, this has to do with censorship and building up credibility for plants that they've put in the truth movement. Now, a lot of you are new to this. A lot of people have just woken up since the outbreak, which is a good thing. But a lot of people are know-it-alls and don't really understand how COINTELPRO works. Now, I can start off by saying I've been accused many times over of being an agent by people. And look, there's other things involved when you look at, who's an agent, who isn't an agent. But for the most part, a lot of people on YouTube who are not mainstream are not agents. You might not like them. You might not agree with them. But it doesn't make them an agent if you don't agree with them. What makes them an agent is when they're part of the corporate media establishment pretending to be rogue or pretending that they're against it. And that's what Russell Brand is, right? He's being promoted. So what they do is they drown out people like me and other people out there who have been doing this for quite a period of time, even though I'm a new YouTuber. It drowns us out. So when you search a certain topic, those are the people that pop up. And then when you hear about these people like Russell Brand, they're now lumped in and considered what they would call conspiracy theorists. And they're doing this with him, with Tucker Carlson. These are establishment people who are now playing the role of victim. They're playing the role of the government and big brothers going after them. And this is building up credibility to their audience that these people are truthers. Now, the signs and symbols are always surrounding these people. COINTELPRO agents are government agents pretending to be people of truth. You will still see them in the mainstream. You will still see them in Hollywood movies like Russell Brand. But people are so dumbed down that they don't see that. They'll still point fingers at people like me and say that I'm an agent, even though I'm deleted all the time. I still see people who say, oh, he's making up getting deleted. Yeah, because I love making new channels and getting less views, less monetization to help support the channel so I can make multiple videos. I love doing that. That's exactly what I'm doing. Like, that's building up credibility. It's not building up any credibility. Actually, it's me losing more and more people who listen. But I'm not doing this video as an attack on Russell Brand because a lot of people will say, like, what are you, jealous of his subscribers and things like that? I'm doing it so that people out there understand who the agents are out there. People with small amount of subscribers, such as myself, who constantly try to fight against this are always going to be suppressed. And we're always going to deal with the things that we deal with, and it's never going to be mentioned. Russell Brand's story is getting put on blast all over the mainstream media, and that is by design. They're pretending, of course, that Russell Brand is under attack because of things that he's doing, which tie into the Me Too movement, which I covered. All the people in the Brotherhood are taking the hit in the Me Too movement because they're trying to build more restrictions, more laws, and of course, tie in credibility and lack of credibility, I should say, with all of these people into their fan bases. So what they're doing with Russell Brand is they're saying that Russell Brand is being accused of doing these things with women. So the audience is looking at this and they're going, oh, look at the establishment going after Russell Brand because he's spitting too much truth about the one-niner, about the World Economic Forum. Now, where do you think a lot of these clowns get their content from? They've been scraping the internet off of people such as myself and others out there that I'm sure you guys listen to who actually put real truthful information out. Now, there's different degrees of truth. There's different levels of truth. There's different things and different avenues that people go down in this movement, right? The shape of the earth is one thing that people get into, very into. Other people get into stuff just about the carbon footprint and what that's about, the celebrity aspect of it. I try to cover as many things as I can cover that interest me in covering. I do these videos, as you could hear the passion in my voice, about something I see that I want to talk about that ties into this. I don't seek out these things just to cover them for the sake of getting views and clicks, because some of the topics will get views, some of the topics won't get views, and the ones you think would get views don't. Like covering big award shows and those things. And nobody cares really anymore, but they're still important to cover for the baby, somebody out there who's new to the whole thing, a baby awakener or whatever you want to call them, baby truther, I guess is the term. Now, when it comes to these people, you should always be able to tell who they are, not just by their actions, which obviously, yes, by their actions, but by their symbols, the signs and symbols they use, right? Confucius once said, signs and symbols rule the world. Just most people don't realize that they communicate in signs and symbols, and they always show us who they are. That's why those collages exist, where you see all these celebrities on magazine covers, not like just random, of course, just all on the covers of magazines or the red carpet where they're holding their hand over their eyes or doing a 666. So we always have that around them, and Russell Brand's no different. In fact, he's more than most, and they tell you in these signs and symbols that they do. So here's just a basic article. Let's look at these real fast before we get into what this is all about. YouTube suspends Russell Brand's revenue from his channel. Look what he's doing there. Oh, the 666, the AOK hand sign, right? You might say, well, they just caught him doing that. Randomly, he was actually just saying something about Trump and showing his hands there. No, that's not the truth at all, because we've seen Russell Brand do it many, many times, right? That doesn't mean AOK. He's not posing for a magazine to say AOK. He's showing his fellow brothers and sisters in the secret societies, his brotherhood, the brotherhood really, that he's in on the plan. He's a part of the plan. That's why they strategically used that photo there in the article, right? Because these people are all communicating through signs and symbols. So we move on from there. Another article, conveniently even shows him doing the shh, right? This is the vow of silence. It's a vow of secrecy. What do you think? These people are going to admit in the open what they do? If the Satanists and the witches admitted what they did in the open, they'd all be dead, okay? Because society would not allow it to happen. They're trying to convince people that the way that they live is good and normal and it should be the way everyone lives, and that's why we have more of a satanic society now. But if they admitted this stuff, well, they'd be caught and there'd be a problem, okay? They take a vow of secrecy. They do not tell anyone they're in these fraternal orders. They do not tell anybody they're in these Masonic orders. They do not tell anyone they're in these satanic orders, that they worship the devil, because they take a vow. And if you break that vow, you will be silenced. You even see some celebrities get silenced for breaking vows. They go get offed and they tell you that they offed themselves. That's how much power and control they have. So here's Brand doing the vow. And every celebrity, this is another symbol. You'll see every celebrity from Rihanna. They all do it. The finger, what do you think he's saying? Shh, I just farted. I don't want to tell anybody. Shh, peekaboo. What is he doing here, right? Playing with his hands over his eyes, the 666, the shh. Okay, you can even go through Masonic teachings. They tell you it's called the vow of secrecy. It's a vow that they take. They take an oath to one another of silence. Witches and Satanists take the same oath. That, it's the same thing essentially, but I'm saying, in different secret societies, these people will never admit to what they are, ever. True Satanists and true witches, they will never openly do it. You have him, of course, throwing up devil horns all the time, and I'm sure everyone just rubs, that we're at a point where people are so desensitized, they look at that symbol, they're like, he's just saying rock and roll, right? And there he is with Tom Cruise, right? Because Tom Cruise, nobody wants to believe Tom Cruise is one of them because everybody likes Top Gun, right? They brush off Scientology, they brush off his connection to the occult and Hubbard. I mean, it's unbelievable, but we all like Top Gun, okay? Doesn't mean Tom Cruise is not a Satanist. Of course he is. He pretty much has proved it. Now, just because Tom Cruise publicly is not promoting communism doesn't mean he's not one of them. Okay, he's still acting. He's still making movies. Okay, people like him because he's not pushing the agendas in his movies. Well, guess what? That's another way that they hurt people. And I'll get into that in a separate video of how they're using people like him. But Tom Cruise and him, he's just buddies with a truther, conspiracy theorist. It's just a regular guy, Russell Brand, right? Because, in my spare time, I'm hanging out with them too. I'm sure somebody will write, hey, how do we not know you're not? Because you don't show your face. Show us your face so that I could get uncomfortably obsessed with you. No, thank you. I'm good. Then we move on. Of course, he's got, just doing he looks, anyway, he's got the cards here. He's reading off of no cards with the all-seeing eye on it. Sure, somebody will make an excuse for him there. He's got a pyramid on his nose. He's holding his chain up over his nose. That's no big deal. We all have necklaces with pyramids on it. It's our favorite shape. I know somebody who has a necklace with a rhombus on it. You guys have necklaces with your favorite shape? Huh? Anybody out there a fan of the octagon? You got an octagon necklace? Huh? Yeah, right. You'll find that most people who have symbols on their jewelry are in the occult, right? Pentagrams, pyramids, eyeballs, right? All occult symbols. So, we just have this hat on them. And of course, we see the the triangle of power, the pyramid of power, whatever you want to call it. Some call it the Merkel diamond, right? Because of the Merkel rhombus. Because of Merkel, who always uses that symbol. Most of the people in power do. Trump does. They all do. And people are just like, that's how they're getting comfortable with their hands. I'm not saying, and again, I'm not one of those people with signs and symbols. Like if a baseball player throws up devil horns, I know that he's saying that there's 2 outs in a baseball game. Okay, I'm sure that people have thrown up 2 fingers before. Somebody's like, hey, how many burgers do you want? You throw up, devil horn saying 2. You're not really throwing them up. They're strategically posing and doing this. There's a little bit of a difference. If you actually are like fidgeting with your hands and somebody takes a screenshot and then the hand makes a pyramid, okay, you shouldn't be accusing that person because they could be fidgeting in line at the car wash and you don't know. They're not making an oath there and to Satan in front of you, okay? You got to be able to use common sense as to when they're doing it and when they're not, because they do it deliberately by design, and clearly Brand is doing it by design. It's a pose on a magazine cover, okay? It's not deliberate. He's not like, I'm just going to relax, take pictures, and put this one on the cover, and everyone just happens to have their hand over their eye. I mean, give me a break. So, that being said, Russell Brand, get some of the stuff out there, because this is all going to tie into all of us. This is going to tie into your behavior being monitored, your behavior affecting whether or not you could be on a place like YouTube. At this point in time, YouTube and all these social media platforms are saying if you violate any of our terms, so in other words, if you talk against the WHO, if you put something up that they disagree with, they can give you a strike, right? That's kind of what I've been going through, even though I'm a YouTuber, right? You get a strike, you get your channel removed, and then all these other restrictions come into place about starting new channels and what you have to go through to get a new channel with 4,000 views, 1,000 subs, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, right? That's what's in place. But now what they want to do, and Russell Brand is playing his role, is Russell Brand has reports and allegations against him. Okay, just somebody making an allegation. So YouTube has demonetized his channel. They haven't shut it down. They've demonetized it. And they've put out a press release saying that, well, if we don't agree with the life that you're living, we have the ability to demonetize your channel. And Russell Brand is just playing his part. It's very convenient that at 6.6 million subscribers, that number 66, that Russell Brand is finally being targeted. I've talked about it for years. Why is his channel, if he's doing rip-off videos of people like me, and I'm not saying that he watches me. I'm not saying that. Even though, at one point in time, you might not remember, but Russell Brand, who was dating, let's go through a little recap here for those of you who are new to it, right? Let's do a rant. Russell Brand was dating a Rothschild. You're not going to date a Rothschild unless you're one of them. You just aren't. Okay, me and you are not going to date a Rothschild unless the Rothschild has plans on eating you for dinner that night. That's the only way the Rothschild would probably meet up with you, or they want your child or something along those lines. But nobody's dating and getting in a relationship with anybody in this bloodline unless they're one of them. So you could check that off the list. He obviously was dating Katy Perry, okay, which is just a no-brainer. Katy Perry is one of the highest-ranking witches now in Hollywood. She is not a Christian. She played her role as pretending to be a Christian. We all know Katy Perry is a Satanist. I've covered about 90 of her videos in the past, or his videos in the past, where you could see this stuff for yourself. It's very easy to see, right? So check that off the list. He's still in Hollywood movies. Check that off the list. And then, even in the past, is this guy who has done just all sorts of reprobate activity in his life and done it out in the open, just been a complete parasite in society. And admitted to being a Marxist, which is really, let's just be real. He's a communist. This is another word for it. And to me, another word for communism is Satanism, to be realistic, because that's what it is. So Russell Brand, even in the past, you might remember this guy who claimed to be vigilant. His name was Mario, and he claimed to be a Christian. Remember that guy? I'm not going to go into bashing the guy. But Russell Brand even did videos at one point in time talking about him. Russell Brand was that, irrelevant in the space. Now Russell Brand is now the face, like Joe Rogan is a face. These guys are all being put as faces of movements. Tucker Carlson and Russell Brand are playing the role that they're supposed to play. Now they're coming in with more rules and more censorship on people like me and you based off of the behavior of someone like Russell Brand. Oh, Russell Brand is being accused of this. So Russell Brand isn't allowed to make money on YouTube anymore. How do they tie in with each other? You may have seen the videos in the past I've done, which maybe you haven't because they were removed right around when my channel got removed, or I should say another YouTuber. And there are videos about how there's actual serial killers. There was one video of YouTube channel, a guy who ate somebody, was on bath salts, and ate a couple in their garage, or some lunatic guy. There's a bunch of YouTubers who have committed murder who are in jail as serial killers, and their channels are still on YouTube. Okay, think about that. Their channels are still there, and they're this obnoxious, ridiculous stuff they talk about. So those channels are still there. Okay, you think maybe if they have a right then to remove somebody, it would be somebody who's proven guilty in court of murder. They're leaving them up, but obviously other YouTubers, like we all know, a call for something, those guys get removed. Now, Russell Brand is not getting removed. He's just being demonetized. So now they could put in a whole new precedent on channels, on all social media platforms, that you are not allowed to make money if we disagree with you. So Russell Brand is pretty much on probation. He's on probation, and this is setting a new precedent where YouTube is coming in. I'll read you the direct quotes, and you're going to get a kick out of them because they're hilarious. They're coming in, they're saying, if a creator, this is the quote, if a creator's off-platform behavior harms our users, employees, or ecosystem, we take action to protect the community. In a statement to CNN Tuesday, YouTube said it had suspended monetization on Russell Brand's channel for violating its creator responsibility policy, which sets standards for how creators should behave on and off the platform. Huh? Oh, on and off the platform. So now it's no longer, oh, well, we want to control what you say on here. We want to control you and your behavior off there, which goes back to who? Larry Fink of BlackRock.
Well, behaviors are going to have to change. And this is one thing we're asking companies. You have to force behaviors. And at BlackRock, we are forcing behaviors. Well, behaviors are going to have to change. And this is one thing we're asking companies. You have to force behaviors. And at BlackRock, we are forcing behaviors.
All of these communists who want to control how we behave, right? Go look at China, the behavioral control system, social credit score. Okay, I've covered it in the past. Please find my videos on it. Become aware of this stuff. They're going to control your behavior. It's not going to be the fun utopian society you think it is. It's going to be worse than living in a jail cell. Because at least in jail, the prisoners are still doing stuff in jail and talking about stuff in jail. You ain't going to be able to do any of it. So YouTube is now saying, let's just recap that. YouTube sets standards for how creators behave on and off the platform. Okay? So if you don't follow their behavior off the platform, whether you're guilty or not, and proven guilty in court or not, they're going to decide if you're allowed to make money on their platform, which of course all of the people on the platform created this platform, not Russell Brand, but all of the people like myself who've helped build out this platform and get people over to the platform. Now I'm not, a large percent of responsible for it. Of course not. As many people have been doing it for a long time who are a lot better than I am, but you get the point, right? This platform is built off of the backs of content creators who they're now taking their rights away from. So YouTube is saying it's not about how you behave anymore in the platform, it's how you behave off the platform as well. So they're going to monitor your behavior off the platform. Now, when this ties into someone like me, it doesn't matter. I'm not subjected to this because I'm not showing my face, and I never did, and it's proven to be one of the smartest things I've done on here. I've gone through criticism, you're afraid to, and all this stuff. It's really just about harassment, and it's about this channel not being about me. If I wanted attention and I wanted people to like throw flowers at me and kiss my rear end, I would show my face, and I would go out there and make it about me like other people have done. I'm not saying everyone who does that is doing that, okay? Don't be offended if you have a channel to show your face. I'm just saying I don't want attention like that. I just want to do the work to help wake people up. And when my time is done, my time is done. And I don't feel it's done yet for anyone out there that thinks that I'm going away, because I'm not. Okay? So as we move on to this is where it gets really funny. About Russell Brand's reported behavior, YouTube says this. YouTube said in a statement, its governance procedures, because apparently it's a government. Sounds a lot like the World Economic Forum and their digital government cities or smart cities. But YouTube also said its governance procedures prohibited creators from using new or alternative channels to circumvent its enforcement decision and generate income elsewhere in the platform. That almost sounds like it's directed at a specific person. Now, I don't have an ego or anything like that, so I can't think that it would be directed at me. But it's hard for me to believe that other people are doing this type of thing on YouTube. Has anyone heard of anyone else who's like rebranded 9,000 times, even getting a minuscule amount of views compared to what I used to get, where I wouldn't even be considered a threat? Why is this statement out there? Why is this in a CNN article saying that anyone out there who is demonetized, you are not allowed, according to YouTube's governance, to go to alternate channels that are monetized? Now, this is going to seep in as a new thing they keep talking about because a digital ID is what this is going to lead to. I know people are like, well, that's jumping the gun. It's not. It's not, because if you know the procedures you have to go through to get your channel monetized, and trust me, I've worked it pretty well. I will go around every single thing every single day until the mark is fully implemented, and then maybe I'll figure something out then too. But I'm not going to get outsmarted by dweebs and dorks, and I'm not going to get outsmarted by an algorithm, okay? Because there are ways around it, and the fact that I don't show my face makes it pretty easy for me to do it, even though I'm not doing it. Somebody else is doing it. I'm not. So this video is only going to be up a few days, just for the record, okay? But they're telling you that you can't make other channels. So this is, to me, this looks like it's something speaking directly to me for the most part. And this is on CNN. This isn't some sub-art. This is like mainstream right now. And the other thing, of course, is that now social media sites are going to monitor your behavior offline. And again, if you're not behaving offline, you're not going to be able to post online. That's what they're saying. So in other words, if you have a bad social score, your internet access is going to be limited. And we're at a point where now people can't live without the internet, right? So people are going to go AWOL, and it's going to force behavior. And again, BlackRock, direct quote, Larry Fink, force behavior. Remember? Talking about forcing behavior, this is how they do it. They say, well, YouTube, even though you could be putting up content on cats and glitter and kittens, okay, on YouTube, and your whole channel could be about that. If they find out that offline you're anti-communism, you're anti-government, they're going to go after your channel. They're going to say, hey, we're going to demonetize you. Oh, you don't care about money on you? Okay. Hey, we're going to restrict how much you could upload because we're going to force your behavior if you're not going to oblige by what we tell you, if you're not going to conform to what we say. So these are all the things that leak into this. And people are like, well, Russell Brand, he's been giving out some truth. These guys give out small truth. How else do you think they're going to build an audience behind them? How do you think all these COINTEL agents are going to build an audience? They give out small truth. They're still mainstream. They still rub shoulders with bankers. They still rub shoulders with politicians. They still rub shoulders with fellow Hollywood actors like Brand does. The easiest thing I can tell you about Russell Brand, if you can't see with your own eyes, is the fact that this guy openly tries to say he's a truther and has the number 33 tattooed on his arm, and then mocks and deflects anybody that calls him out on the 33 on his arm, the number 33. I mean, he's literally branded himself, no pun intended, Russell Brand, with the occult number on his wrist, and even has comedy tours, even though I cannot believe anyone finds him funny, but to each their own, I suppose. Even has comedy tours bragging about having the number 33. And on top of that, our friend Yuval, right? Remember Yuval? Yuval Harara or whatever, however he pronounces his name, the Antichrist himself. I mean, he's got to be in the running, right? Well, maybe not. I mean, the guy couldn't be more weak and pathetic. But Yuval is the guy who, what did Yuval say? Does anybody remember what Yuval said? Come on, I'll give you a second. Anybody? Do you remember what Yuval said? He had the videos. I just re-uploaded one on my other channel, so if you haven't subbed to that, please make sure you do so now. Yuval's the same guy who went out there and said that we don't need any humans anymore. He says that AI should rewrite the Bible because it's not accurate, and AI could make it accurate for this utopian satanic religion, the Antichrist religion. He talks about how we need to depopulate. He talks about all sorts of blasphemies against God. And this is Russell Brand's buddy. I mean, you want to say he's not buddy? I mean, he's literally kissing him. I mean, no guy should be kissing another guy. And, you want to kiss your dad on the cheek, okay? But these guys are awfully close. So this is the face of the movement. And when you look at Tucker and you look at Brand, especially Tucker is very easy to like his content because he's great on the microphone. Like Trump, these guys are great on the mic. They say everything you want to hear. You ever heard the expression in the Bible? The verse, I should say, not the expression. The Bible verse in 2 Timothy chapter 4, verse 3. For the time will come when they will not endure sound doctrine, but wanting to have their ears tickled, they will accumulate for themselves teachers in accordance to their own desires. What role are all these people playing? Now, Russell Brand doesn't play the direct role of a Christian. He plays the role of like a universal spirituality role, which ties in better than the Christian role as far as brainwashing goes, because people get sucked in whether they're atheists or not. Trump and Tucker are playing the role of Christians. All of a sudden, they're both Christians in our society. And they're tickling everyone's ears because they're unbelievable on the mic. They're saying things that we want to say to these people, talking about the absurdity that we're seeing, right? So then when they deplatform them, it's an illusion. Tucker Carlson deplatformed about Fox News. Well, everybody, even myself over the years, have said, anybody who's on Fox is a puppet and a shill, right? It's pretty clear. Anyone on anything mainstream media, okay? And anyone who's not dealing with censorship. Tucker became so popular, the next best move was to deplatform him because it just builds credibility. The only thing that was hurting with Tucker, because he was starting to expose the CIA, done by design, of course, only when it comes to JFK, not the stuff going on with the carbon footprint, all these other things. But the best thing you could possibly do with somebody who's saying the right things and is that popular, who has this little bit of doubt in people's minds because he's on Fox, is to deplatform. Then everyone goes, see, he's right. Look, he's getting more views on Twitter. He's rebelling against the establishment, even though his family fortune is in the billions, I believe. Okay, and people are like, well, that doesn't really matter. No, it does matter. It all matters. Their ties to one another matter. They're agents. Okay, and people go, well, how do you know? How do we know you're not an agent? How am I not? Who am I? I'm nothing. Today I'm eye for an eye. Tomorrow I'm something else. How could I be an agent when I don't have an audience? I have a small audience of people who still listen. I'm grateful for every single one of them. I love you, all of you to death. And I appreciate the loyalty of people who follow the channel and listen to the channel. Not me, but just listen to the channel. Okay, we're all friends. We're all in the same community. But the fact that I have a little bit of popularity is only based on the content that I've ever done and the way that I do my content. People like it. And it's not that big of a surprise to me because, this is how I am in my regular life. I draw interest when I go out places if I decide to rant, or people are drawn to my personality. It's been like that since I was a kid. So I'm not surprised that people listen. From the standpoint of, I get a couple thousand views. It doesn't shock me. And other people out there are really bad at this. And then they see people like me. They're like, oh, he's a shill. Let's be real about the shill thing. The shills are the people like Brand. You don't get 6.6 million subscribers. You don't get put at this position to, water down truth. And then to be the only thing that just comes up as conspiracy. Any of these things you talk about gets lumped into conspiracy, and Russell Brand gets put as a face of it. So anything that he does, then people start judging our behavior, and they start lumping us into the same basket. And then, of course, the hurting of our society. That's what they're doing with these people. They're presenting them as rebels against the establishment, when they're not real rebels. They are the establishment. Tucker is still the establishment. Trump is the establishment. Brand is the establishment. They're still working people. And that's what this is completely about. While at the same time being able to use them to bring in more restrictions on us. And that's what Alex Jones did with the hook at Sandy. It brought more restrictions on us. Did he go to jail? No. Did he pay any of them $1 trillion? Of course not. It was part of the show. And then he backtracked on what he said to make everybody out there look like a liar. Instead of going to court, like I said in the video I did on it, instead of going to court and saying, hey, you know what? I believe that it wasn't real, and I'd like you to prove it to me with evidence, not just a news clip. Then people will go, whoa, wait a minute. He wants it to be, why do you, go that route instead of saying, oh, I'm sorry, I made it up for views and all this stuff. Because what does it do? It waters down truth. Everybody can look at the hook at Sandy. I mean, give me a break. It's one of the most ridiculous events we've ever seen in American history. I'm saying from the standpoint of how it was played out. The actors involved, everything. It was unbelievable. It was like they did it. It was like they hired the worst crew of writers, actors, directors they could possibly hire, and they rolled it out as truth, and they expected us to believe it. And somehow some people do, right? But Alex played his role with that, right? Alex played his role with the first wave of censorship on here. Now Brand is playing the role with the next wave of censorship on here, on social media, not just YouTube. And they're saying, look, this is going to be the new precedent. If we find out anything about you offline, and it's not, they use the extreme, like, oh, he did stuff with women. Everybody would agree, like, that's disgusting, deplorable. Nobody agrees with that type of behavior. But first of all, you need to be convicted in court. And then you need to say, oh, okay, well, we're going to do what? What are you going to do? Oh, you're going to demonetize him. Well, what does that have to do with his actual content that he's putting out? So you're saying he can't have free speech unless he lives by the guidelines you say. And then they say, well, was that something that's difficult to ask because we're just saying that he shouldn't commit this crime or do this to women. And everyone will go, well, okay, there is truth to that. Nobody should do that to a woman. Right? But then you say, well, where does it draw a line? Because it's the same thing as hate speech. Look what's hate speech now. Oh, it's bullying to call someone fat. Oh, it's about speech censorship. So this trickles down with Brand. When suddenly we go, your behavior offline isn't about what you do with women. It's your behavior offline as far as what you say in person to people. It's as far as how you feel about paying your taxes, how you feel about what the government's doing, what you're watching online, what you're reading online. They don't agree with that behavior because you're reading it. Oh, you can't make a living anymore on YouTube. Oh, you can't post this anymore online. You have to have your behavior controlled by them. That's what they're telling you. It's about behavioral control. That's what this precedent is. And that's what Russell Brand is doing. He's playing the role right now. That's what he was put here to do. Now, you look at Russell Brand, and it's amazing that anyone listens. But when they start pushing all this stuff and sounding like they care about people, and they start pushing love and equality, which he ties into his stuff, suckers get suckered in. Right? Whereas someone like me, what am I doing? Well, I'm just talking to you like I normally talk, but people would say I'm yelling and ranting, but that's not really true. If you want to see me yell and rant, go to the website maybe sometime, even though I haven't done a real rant recently, maybe because I'm getting old or maybe just I'm getting used to all this stuff. It's getting draining to even rant about it, but this is me talking, right? But people hear me and they're like, oh, he's horrible. He's so mean and he's a bigot. And it's like, what? You don't even know anything about me just because of the tone of my voice. Well, Russell Brand is, oh, you beautiful people, I love everybody out there. We all need to agree and be equal. And it's the big banks, even though I dated a Rothschild, and I've never talked about it on the air, and I have their number 33 tattooed on me. Yeah, and I worship the Antichrist, and Yuval's my best buddy, who is pretty much talking about killing everyone and how humans aren't needed anymore. I won't mention any of those things. I'll just do my role that I've been put here to do for now, which is to set new restrictions on speech online based on behavior offline. That's what this is about. So if you listen to this video, which I guess you could consider somewhat of a rant, You're saying, okay, let's just recap what happened here. Your behavior offline is going to be judged as to what you can and cannot say online, or if you're even going to be allowed to post online. It's not just about monetizing. And everyone's going to look at it and they're going to go, well, he did that stuff with women. Screw him. He shouldn't be allowed to. And everyone would say, okay, right? But that's not what it's going to be. It's going to continue to water down. They do this. They did this in the beginning with hate speech. And now everything's considered hate speech that's disagreeing with the establishment. It's the same thing here. You might be like, oh, well, if you did get accused of that, well, first of all, you should be found guilty first. So even say hypothetically he's found guilty. What about all the people who committed murder who are YouTubers still? Doesn't mean they're posting, but they have channels. How about the guy in California? I forget the serial killer, what university it was. I'm sure you'll write in the comment section. Some guy from a university in California went and killed like 10 people. And he posted all the videos on YouTube before he went and did it. Right now, he could have been a Manchurian Candidate or something like that. But, you know, these people don't address anything when you bring up facts and you confront them on stuff. They just shut you down, shut your voice down, right? So, again, this is about your behavior offline. Everything you do, the control of your behavior. You will not be able to make a living unless you comply with them. That's what they're getting to the point of, where they say if you disagree and you say something or you don't pay your taxes or whatever, you're not allowed to make a living. You're not allowed to have income. You're not allowed to even speak online unless we force this behavior on you, which we're doing, and you comply to it. And people will comply to it. But guess what? This guy won't ever, under any circumstance, and they can do whatever they want. Because you know what? I'm desensitized now to what I've gone through on here. I mean, it's literally a 30-day thing, and I just keep trying new stuff, and then at the end of the day, I'm just like used to it. I just feel bad for having to rant to everybody out there about going to new channels and things like that, because I know it's annoying. I'm not trying to victimize myself. I'm just trying to get you there so you know, so we can continue on this journey together. That being said, I have another channel, Uprising Revival. So please make sure you sub it if you haven't yet, because this will probably get a strike. And I'm only leaving videos up for 7 days before I take them down. 7 days. Not 14, 7. I've changed my mind. Because this is the way I'm going to try to fight this, because I know that the computer's not fast enough to catch it, as of right now. Even though there are people out there that think that the computer is. So, what we're seeing right now, ladies and gentlemen, is just a total onslaught of the satanic regime. And nobody should feel pity for Russell, okay? Russell is doing what he's supposed to be doing, just like Alex did, just like all of them do, okay? It's all of us. And yes, me, I'm a little we're all just the little people in the eyes of this machine. But they want to herd the people like us into following false leaders and false idols. These people are not leaders. Russell Brand is not a leader. He's going to lead you to the pit. Tucker Carlson's going to lead you to the pit. Donald Trump's going to lead you to the pit. Me, I was born a leader myself. The only place I'm going to lead you is to truth. And the only truth in this world is that Jesus Christ is the King of Kings, and he died for our sins. And if we ever have to go on the battlefield, all of us, before the day comes that he returns, I'll do my best to lead. But I'm not above or beyond anybody else. And I'm not going to hurt anybody here. And I'm going to continue to battle this fight till they cut my tongue out. They want to throw me in jail. They want to put me in YouTube jail, whatever jail it might be. I'll build an army there too. Because I will not stop speaking truth, and I will not be intimidated by this type of bullcrap where they come out and they go, it's against our governance laws for you to create another channel and have it monetized and then upload there after we demonetized you here, but we don't have the technology to keep up and connect the two together. So we're just warning you with threats as if it's some type of law, as if you can go to prison for it. Oh yeah, this is me holding up the middle finger. Yeah, and I tell you 10 places you could stick it too, okay? Ladies and gentlemen, we are living in a deception right now. Don't fall for it. These people out there are setting precedents. That's what they're there for. Tucker and Russell Brand and all these guys who are playing the role of victim of the establishment because they're getting too much truth out. It's happening. I mean, where are the stories out there, by the way, on my channel? He's been demonetized. I've been demonetized over and over and over. Another YouTuber, about 75 times in the last 2 years, maybe. I mean, not that many, but it's up there. I'm getting close to, double digits on, triple digits, I should say, on how many channels I've had. But that's fine. You ever going to hear that out there? No, because they don't want anyone to know who I am. They want anyone to find my content, because then people would wake up and realize what's going on. That's not me patting myself on the back. That's the truth. These guys don't pose a threat. What they do is they set new precedents of control and restrictions on all of us. So I'm going in a circle, I'm ranting, but I think you all get the point, right? 33 in the arm, Yuval, the connections to the Rothschilds. What else does anyone need to say about any of these people? This is the role they're playing. And then what it does, sadly, is when this happens, is it builds more credibility for those people. So more people will follow them. And they're going to follow them into the wrong lane. And that lane is going to read lead directly to hell. And even if it doesn't lead there, it's going to lead to a lot of psyops and a lot of false flags that people are going to continue to fall for. I thank you guys for being here. Wanted to do a rant on that. Hope you're all doing well. Please sub to my other channel if you haven't yet. God bless all of you as always and your families.